Here is the review of Mastermind Creations Turben, which is their take on IDW Whirl. So here he is in his, what I like to call a, helicopter jet, or I think it's called something else. And it's not quite spot on to his IDW comic book design, but they've tried the best they could to make it IDW accurate. But it still looks cool. And he does have retractable landing gears. And that is these two here on the front and these two on the back that you can flip up. And these propellers here do spin. And you could see some silver paint on the outside here. On both of these. And he also has these guns here on both sides that you can detach if you want to display him without these guns attached. And also on the bottom of the vehicle, there is supposed to be like a panel here where if you're going in robot mode, you would take the, well, before you take the gun and fold it in, you will have to open up the panel, which is supposed to be here, and then flip the gun all the way in and close the panel here. But the final release here, which is this one, it doesn't have that panel. And if I bring in the instructions / comic book, you can see that panel right there that's supposed to be there. It is not on the final release, which is this one. And he also comes with the collector's card here, and has the stats on the back. And that's about it for vehicle mode. So to transform him, you want to take these here, untap them, and then you also want to bring them up, and they will untap from these pegs and those holes there. And you do need to be very careful of these, because these are made out of thin plastic. So be mindful of that. Then come to the back here. Untap the back from these two tiny pegs here from these holes here. And then you just bring this all the way forward until it snaps in place. And you do want to make sure that these front landing gears are folded up, because you need to have some room to bring down the waist and the legs. But before you bring them down, you have to untap the back here. And then bring it all the way down. And you also want to take the gun here and bring it in. Rotate the waist around. Oh, and you can now bring up the front landing gears. And these two pegs here was where these holes go into. Then you just want to separate his legs. And you also want to rotate his legs and also these hip things here. So that they look like this. And you also want to take these ankle guards here and flip them up, which will allow you to flip up his feet. And you can leave his knees like this, but what you can also do is there's this button here, this dark blue button here. What you can do with that is you want to push and hold on it, which will allow you to extend his knee out. Like that. And then what you can do with his knees here is that you want to bring them up on this joint here, and also bring them back on this joint here, so that they turn into chicken legs. And I will have to adjust the camera. So now that we're done with the lower body, we can now move on to the upper body. So for the upper body, you want to take these here, untap them, and then bring them up. I left these untap so that it's much easier for me to flip these up. Now you want to take these here and rotate them down, and you also want to slide them forward. And then you want to take his elbows here, untap them, and bring them down. Then rotate them. And for his hands, you want to slide them out using these sliders here, and that will allow you to open up his hands or his fingers, which is what I meant to say. So that they look like this. Then you do the same on the other side. Now you want to take this here and untap it, and well, before you untap this and bring it down, you have to come underneath here and take what will become his head, which is here, and you want to I will have to use his sword, so that's much easier. But what you want to do is you want to take his head here and bring it down, and then you can take the back here, untap it, and you want to bring it down to about there, so that way you can push up his head, or push out his head. And then you can bring this all the way down. And then you want to take these here and bring them back down. And you want to take these here and collapse them all the way in so that it's more compact. And for his head, you want to rotate it around. And then you want to take this this antenna here and flip it up. And you don't have to do this if you want to, but what you can do with his chest here is that you can bring it down if you want to. But in the comics, the IDW comics, he had this flipped up. Oh, one more thing I forgot to show y'all. First I gotta get these out of the way. On the back here, if you don't like this gap here, you can fill this in, and to do that, you want to slide down on that here, and that helps fill in that gap right there. And now you're done. And just like his alt mode, it's not quite spot on to his IDW design, but I think that this is a mixture of his More Than Meets the Eye and Stormbringer self. And they've tried the hardest they could. But it still looks like a great robot mode. And he does have some darker blue and some silver on his legs here, and also on these here, and also here. To help break up everything. And for articulation, he has a swivel at the head, and he can look up really good, and he can move down about there. And you can also use that transformation joint at the bottom of the neck. Arms can rotate. They can do a full 360 degrees. You just have to make sure that these are not hindering anything. But they can go a full 360 degree, and they can move out on the screw joint here, and can also move out on this joint here. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, and his elbows here, the bottom ones here, can rotate. And his hands can swivel, and his fingers have two joints, one here and one here. And my only problem with him is that I wish these sliders here would lock into place, so that way these don't have to like slide in when you're moving his hands around. waist swivel, and he does have an ab crunch. Legs are on a soft ratchet forward and back, soft ratchet in and out, thigh swivel, and you can move these hip pieces. And his knees have a ratchet here, a soft ratchet here, and these ankle guards here can move out of the way to accommodate his feet articulation, which are on ball joints. And for accessories, besides the 2 guns on his elbows, he comes with what you've already saw in the transformation, a sword. And to have him hold it, you would open up his fingers, and inside of his hand, he has this here. And this will help you slide in the sword. And then you just wrap his fingers around it. And there you go. And for a size comparison, here he is with Mastermind Creations Megatron. And here he is with Mastermind Creations Turben. And because he is part of the Wreckers, here he is with Generations Springer. So, final thoughts. I really think this figure looks great in both modes. And he scales great with the other IDW cast. But my only problem with him is that he's not quite spot on to his IDW comic book design, but they've tried the best they could. And this version of IDW Whirl is like a mixture of his More Than Meets the Eye and Stormbringer self. And also, my next problem with it is that I wish there was something to lock his hands in, so that way these don't have to keep compressing in when you're moving his fingers around and his hands. So I think that's about it. So there you have it. Mastermind Creations Turben. Their take on IDW Whirl. And if you like this video, give me a like, comment, and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching. Just a quick update video on Mastermind Creations Turben. This was just one thing that I forgot to show y'all, and that is you can store the sword in him if you don't want him to hold it in his hands. And that is there's a hole in here which will allow you to slide this in. So you can have that. And that was just something that I forgot to show to you guys. And it doesn't matter which way you would slide the sword into. You can either slide it in like this or like this. Oh, well, you you have to slide it in like this. Not like this. Like this. My bad. So there you go. Just a quick update on Turben.